80% of divorces are filed by women. And why is that? So the comment that I got was, why do so many women leave their husbands simply because they are unhappy or bored? Why is it that men have the endurance of till death do us part, and yet many women have the endurance limited to their emotions like boredom and unhappiness? And I think this is a great question. And I see videos pop up all the time in this space about women leaving simply because they're unhappy. And why is that? And what's the solutions to that? So what I had to see for myself as a woman, why we have such a limited endurance in marriage and we are so quick to leave and so quick to run, is because we have no concept when we get married that we are actually making a commitment to another person. We're making a commitment to ourselves, that our vows actually mean something. And that when we get married, we have responsibilities and roles to make it work. As women, we are incredibly short-sighted. And all we think about in getting married is the wedding, the dress, and the party. And we have no concept that we are actually stepping into a huge responsibility and a huge commitment that we are making to keep our word and follow through. And women will be the first to argue, my husband broke his vows. My husband does not follow his vows. He's the one that's not committed. Again, that is a projection of ourselves and our own lack of commitment in our marriage, that we have no concept that our vows even mean something and that we're making a commitment. We want to look good, sound good at the wedding, and that's it. For us as women, marriage is the next thing that we are checking off our list of what we think will make us happy in life. It's the trap of the human pursuit of happiness that we all have. That's not a woman problem, but looking for what's going to make me happy in my life and checking off the boxes to have a good life on paper, thinking that that's somehow going to make us happy, when the truth is that happiness is an internal experience. We all know that no one and no thing can make you happy, but we've never been taught how to put that in place. So we spend our whole lives acquiring the relationships, the things, the achievements, the accomplishments, thinking those things will make us happy. And they never will. They never can, because the only one who can make us happy is ourselves. So as women getting married, and I did the same thing, it's the next step of the thing that we think will make us happy. And we believe that marriage and a happy marriage are supposed to just happen, that there's nothing that we have to do to actually make that happen, and that it actually takes work. So for us as women, as soon as it gets hard, as soon as it's not going the way that we think it should, as soon as we are unhappy or bored, we run, because we have no commitment to ourselves and we had no intention or awareness that we actually have to follow through with the commitment that we make when we get married. We feel entitled and we feel justified to search for our happiness in spite of the commitment and responsibilities we have as a wife, and for many women as a mother. And we put our own happiness ahead of the commitment and the responsibilities that we have made. And so what happens for us as women is that we'll divorce, we'll run away, we'll break up, we hop into another relationship thinking that somehow that will make us happy, and it doesn't. And this is the cycle that we live in our whole lives. And we live in this cognitive dissonance that it's our husbands making us unhappy, that it's the marriage making us unhappy, with no awareness that it's actually you. And I had to realize it was me that was unhappy. And there was nothing my husband could do or stop doing or anything that was going to change in my marriage that would make me happy, because that is impossible. The only person that can make you happy is you. And unfortunately, we aren't taught how to do that in life. But I was very blessed to be taught how to be happy and what happiness actually is, and that it's having a healthy relationship with myself, that it isn't anything that my husband can do or my marriage can do to make us happy. I like to look at the statistics that 50% of first marriages fail, 60% of second marriages fail, and 75% of third marriages fail. And if 80% of marriages are divorced or filed by women, it's because we're unhappy and we think it's the marriage or our husband making us unhappy. That's a myth. And wherever you go, there you are. So if you leave the relationship because you're bored or because you're unhappy and you're blaming your husband and your marriage for that, we're incredibly misguided. We're unhappy because of ourselves. We're bored because we're bored with ourselves, because we've given up on ourselves and we're not doing anything to create a life for ourselves and to do the things that are meaningful and purposeful to us. I like to use the example of Tom Brady and Giselle, and I've seen some videos around on that too. I think Pearly Things has some videos on that. And it's the classic, like Tom Brady, clearly a good man, at the top of his game, makes plenty of money, just a wonderful person. And Giselle was unhappy because he played football too long. When she knew who she was marrying and what he did, she was marrying a professional football player and top of his game. And she thought it was supposed to be different, and that he was away too much and he played football too much. So she was unhappy. So she felt entitled to leave and wreck her family. Giselle is unhappy in herself. She's a classic woman, and thinking that there's some other man out there that's going to make her happy, and that Tom Brady was responsible for her unhappiness. No. Ladies, it's us. And so the solution is to learn to be happy in ourselves. And what men need to know, this is really, really, really important, is you are not the source of your wife's unhappiness. You are not the source of your wife's unhappiness. And that there is nothing you can do or stop doing that will make her happy. Nothing that you hear in marriage counseling, nothing that she asks you to read, not speaking speaking her love language, writing love notes to her, making her feel important, doing special things for her. None of those things will make your wife happy, because she is unhappy in herself. And she is the only solution to her unhappiness. And if you try to do the things you think will make her happy, she will resent it, find fault in it, and it won't be enough. And she'll find all the other things that she thinks you need to do to make her happy. So good men have to retire from trying to make your wife happy, and retire from throwing your actions and feelings into an empty bucket with holes that's never, ever going to result in your wife being happy. It doesn't mean that you can't be the kind, thoughtful, loving partner that you are, but you have to do that for yourself, because it's an expression of who you are, not because you think if you do this one thing, maybe she'll be nice, or maybe she'll finally be happy, or maybe she'll get off my back about this, because you'll be disappointed and let down every single time. So the ultimate reason that 80% of divorces are filed by women is because we are selfish and self-centered, and we put our own unhappiness ahead of the commitments that we made in being a wife and oftentimes a mother. And we are grossly misguided to think that our happiness is in some other relationship or some other form of a lifestyle, because it's not. And the only way that we're going to be happy is to learn to take responsibility for ourselves, to follow through with our commitments, to do our best.